First, locate a steel drum and chop off the top. The next step is to drill inches and holes for air movement around the minutes and seconds bottom. After that, you want to make it extremely hot. There is almost little possibility that Jim Jones and Camron will ever be able to mend their friendship, not in light of the recent events. During the No Rap Cap episode, Jim attacked Camron for a few minutes, accusing him of being weak. And Cam wasted no time in retaliating with smooth remarks about Jim's rental status. These days, things are getting out of control quickly, with crazy back and forths on Instagram sprouting up, side characters appearing for minutes, Freaky Zeke getting strange attention, and Sin somehow finding his way into the mix as well. People are already wondering how far this will actually go, because the tension feels like it's about to explode in a matter of minutes. Are we talking about continuous online shoots? Or will this eventually amount to minutes or seconds? One day, perhaps even a boxing match. There's no denying that things got completely crazy today. The tone was anything but kind as Jim Jones broke down his problems with Camron while sitting on no cap for minutes on end. Minutes, seconds. He was blatantly disparaging Camron, attempting to create the impression that Cam wasn't actually built like that at all. Naturally, Cam reacted in typical Cam way, being extremely petty, extremely calculating, and spot on. He brought up the entire landlord issue related to the Let's Rap About It podcast, which Cent was the one who initially thrust into the public eye. Jimmy ends up igniting the match himself once more. Even though Jim Jones and his co-host tried to ignore and move on from the previous incident, it was evident that he didn't learn much from it. He is now repeating the same action. Jimmy continues, for whatever reason, to abandon his operations, point out flaws, and promote outrageous minute-by-minute stories on the internet. And each time he does it, somebody brings up something embarrassing that obviously irritates him. Minutes, seconds. So what exactly did Jimmy say that caused this to happen? Now let's roll the clip. Make sure you blast the hype by hitting the like button. Before we begin, press the minutes and seconds buttons. From the beginning, it was clear that Jimmy was looking for rap smoke. This was the response he desired. Simply put, minutes and seconds. You can't possibly hop on that show with the expectation that Camron won't reply at all, champ. Known as one of the kings of petty, Cam is minutes and seconds. Additionally, he always goes all out when it comes to beef. Doesn't minutes and seconds matter if it's Jim Jones, who appears to be his primary opponent at the moment. Cam is always prepared to provide a forceful spin back. Minutes and seconds pass back and forth, with strangers apprehending strays and outside names becoming involved in the chaos. Minutes, seconds. Cam used to be so terrified of them that he refused to go outside. I'm from downtown, so I didn't get it. Minutes, seconds, did you hear? We had our own group of murderers. In Harlem, Dame had little effect. Minutes, seconds, not to put it that way. Dame was raised by hustlers. That was the impact. When it came to hustling in Harlem, he was a tiny dude. He wasn't even close to being Rich Porter. Not one of that kind. Minutes, seconds, Dame from the east side. He wanted to work hard like Rich Porter and like that. In contrast to the on the west side, we were on the east side. Since we were young and he was traveling from the west side, Dame was a huge deal to us on the east side. Little jewelry for cars, etc. He looks like Rich Porter when you're young, but in a matter of minutes or seconds he was like this: go to the store, take a few grams and leave. Rap, minutes and seconds. When you remove the street element of it and turn it into a music industry, what effect did he have on Dipset? He had no influence over Dipset. We made our own impression according to minutes, seconds, Dip, minutes and seconds. When you guys arrived at Rockefeller, did you bring a specific vibe that made individuals and things like state property uncomfortable? Seconds, minutes. When we arrived at Rockefeller, everyone was in the studios performing music, including state property, Fleek, and diplomats. They were all working on minutes, and the second music for that hadn't begun until they had experienced all that peril. However, you claim that Cam took over the rock. Minutes? Seconds. I mean, he was gifted in that regard. He was a dancer. After high school, they started getting on and like that, but Mace excelled and began getting on first and signing first. Normally, they didn't excel minutes or seconds at the rapping. Minutes, seconds, and then I assist Cam, everyone, and in that manner. However, they didn't have a moniker like that in the street when it came to establishing themselves. You understand what I mean? Big Miguel made a reputation for himself in minutes and seconds. He was rapping at an early hour. He was signing minutes and seconds ahead of schedule. He had some brothers who were scary. They were uptown, trembling, moving, and acting in that manner. Do you dig? Seconds town, it is not my portion of the minutes. Yes, I was upset. Cam used to be so terrified of them that he didn't want to go outside. I'm from downtown, so I didn't get it. Have you heard? Minutes later, Camron leaped onto Instagram and hit back asking, how are you worried about me when your heat is off and rent is due? We had our own group of killers. Jimmy retaliated by calling him a shoe. Seconds, minutes. Cam responded once more saying, are you concerned about my heat? You're cold, hard, and years old, but I'm warm. However, it really began to heat up in dead serious minutes. Jimmy continued to flood Cam's page with replies, including Freaky Zeke, Cameron's cousin and former Dipset Minutes and Seconds affiliate, as well as remarks like, your whole crew is soft in the comments. Jimmy appeared to be completely agitated by Cam's remarks at that moment. The true question, though, is why those remarks struck such a nerve and triggered him in such a way in a matter of minutes or seconds. This is precisely why Jimmy seemed so agitated, champ. Minutes, seconds later, Freaky Zeke burst out laughing in the comments. Just a laughing emoji, nothing out of the ordinary. Jim snapped back, calling him soft in a matter of seconds. Jimmy then began pressuring anyone who even made fun of the circumstance, like he was triggered just by the jokes. Seconds, minutes at that point, things took yet another unexpected turn. You want to play? Pull up. Let the minutes and seconds people see how soft you are, was Jim's outrageous remark, essentially challenging Camron to meet him in person. Minutes or seconds, but Cam showed no signs of giving up. And you still want to pull up? He said with a forceful clap. I received the video. You broke into your own studio, chased your landlord in his car because he wanted his rent, and tried to turn on the heat for a few minutes. The minutes, second, and internet were immediately vibrating with that response. Cam went so far as to say that he had video of Jim pursuing the landlord connected to the second podcast Let's Rap About It Minutes. Sent Minutes previously brought up the same scenario in which a voicemail purportedly claimed over $1 in unpaid rent. If that video is authentic, Jim Jones' situation might quickly turn ugly. Perhaps one of the most pathetic scenes we've witnessed in. It's just getting worse after minutes, seconds, and years. Especially now that Scent has formally entered the conversation. Another confirmed minute of pettiness had to be added to this disaster. It was Scent, of course. His clever posts such as, I hope y'all can chip in and get the heat back on, basically clowning the whole situation, had everyone mining and second-guessing. Given that all of this was already simmering behind the scenes, that in and of itself made things appear even worse. Given that this was resting in the tuck, Jimmy definitely shouldn't have been speaking carelessly. Minutes, total time in seconds. Really, these minutes and seconds wouldn't be spiraling out of control if Jim Jones had just been quiet and refrained from attacking individuals who are far more petty than him. There are now rumors that video of him pursuing a landlord over rent and heat problems may be released. No matter how you slice it, that's a horrible sight. People on the internet are noting that this whole thing feels crazy, especially when they witness a grown man acting like he's still in his teens instead of seconds, handling things neatly. And just when you thought it was over, another caustic post appeared. Minutes, pointing out that Camron is making fun of him and adding a lighthearted joke, and expressing his optimism that Jim is doing okay under all that pressure. He even included a brief moment of artificial tranquility, implying that everyone was gathered around the fire in a staged kumbaya moment. The situation is officially chaotic, noisy, and far from cooling off as of this minute. At this point, everything goes to a whole new level because once Scent starts making jokes, it's never simply jokes, it's strategy. Every post seems deliberate, minute by minute, as if he's intentionally probing the bruise and letting the internet take care of the rest. Minutes, seconds. Camron, on the other hand, is chuckling as he watches the comments blow up, knowing exactly how this appears from the outside. The true problem is that Jimmy's emotions take over and prevent him from acting rationally. There's no turning back once you start challenging people in public and exerting pull-up energy online without appearing unsteady. Minutes, seconds, and now jokes, memes, and receipts are all stacking up at once on the timeline. When the pressure is constant in public, it affects different minutes and seconds differently. The age aspect that people frequently bring up because the internet doesn't show mercy in minutes or seconds exacerbates this. People are wondering why Jim Jones is allowing this to continue rather than ending it amicably. These days, it's more than just words. It's all about pride, perception, and who appears to be in charge. But one thing is certain. This fight has officially become a full-fledged online spectacle and is no longer private, minutes, or seconds. This is where things become extremely tricky, because as soon as pride, logic generally vanishes when minutes and seconds are involved. Jim Jones is no longer only reacting, minutes, seconds. He's responding, and the internet is able to detect that. The idea that this struck closer to home than he wants to acknowledge is only strengthened by each response, comment, and challenge. Minutes, seconds. At the same time, Camron is playing this cool-headed yet brutal game, letting screenshots and jokes speak for themselves. He doesn't have to scream or make threats. Embarrassment weighs heavily on him, and that's what makes it risky. The entire power dynamic is instantaneously altered when laughter takes the place of rage. Scent, who knows precisely when to return and twist the knife a bit further, is hovering over everything like a shadow for minutes. He doesn't require lengthy speeches or minutes. The entire chronology comes back to life with just one post and caption. It's no longer even about the initial minute/second statement. When all is said and done, it comes down to control, ego, and who appears unconcerned. However, as everyone knows, things won't be getting better anytime soon. The internet is going crazy about a video that Camron is currently watching that purports to show Jim Jones pursuing his landlord over the heat situation. The pettiness is at an all-time high and will only get worse. Minutes, seconds. If that footage lowers significantly, this will quickly seem terrible. Jimmy should never have brought up Cam's minutes at all, since he is well aware of how he reacts in such circumstances. The most bizarre aspect is that Jim doesn't even appear to have realized he was being filmed for that little instant, which makes it even more chaotic. This is one of those circumstances where things quickly go out of control. People are now wondering what will happen in the coming minutes and seconds. Will this beef continue to intensify? Is peace possible? Or is this simply going to be constant trolling? And let's face it, it seems like Scent is purposefully pressing buttons to keep Jim hot when he's still minutes away, seconds spoken, and kidding. Will there be another freestyle or viral moment? Or will minutes and seconds like this eventually become something completely unanticipated? I want to hear from you now. Please share your opinions in the comments section, and let me know where you believe this beef will go. To stay tuned in, make sure you subscribe to Dripsy, like this video, and share it. Secondly, press the I do button for the majority of minutes. It contributes significantly to the channel's growth in minutes and seconds. I appreciate you rocking with